breaking the wall to climate justice through STEM mentorship. Hassan Farah, Aspen Institute, United States.
Just over 100 years ago, Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company in his hometown Dearborn, Michigan, where his innovations like the Model T car, assembly lines, and the 40-hour workweek left a global legacy. Yet for those living in the shadows of these industrial plants, the impact goes beyond automobiles. Coal soot covers the windows, iron pollutes the air, and children have to go to the hospital to remove steel particles from their eyes. This contrast inspired Cassian, a teenager also from Dearborn, Michigan, to take action by joining the project I'm presenting to you today, Our Future is Science. You'll see how we support Cassian and other young people as they utilize the scientific method to become change agents for climate justice in their communities and beyond. Now, climate justice calls upon us to view climate change as an ethical and political issue, exacerbated by societal injustices. This approach demands that we consider how the global impacts of climate change are experienced at the grassroots level. Sorry, excuse me. So, before starting on science engagement projects, our students go into their communities and they make observations of these injustices for themselves. The industrial plants in Cassian's neighborhood, urban heat islands in Texas with little tree coverage, and coastal communities in Florida polluted with plastics are just a few of the injustices our mentees have identified over the years. And at Our Future is Science, abbreviated OFIS, mentees develop solutions that are adaptable, accessible, and sustainable. OFIS is a year-round virtual mentorship program that pairs teenage mentees with STEM graduate students from backgrounds often underrepresented in STEM. In a near-peer mentorship relationship, they learn how to develop the tools to address climate change at a local level. To that effect, we have hosted over 400 learning experiences for our students, featuring scientists, activists, policymakers, and more. This includes weekly mentorship team meetings and monthly professional development workshops and community talks, like this event on urban agriculture in New York City. Through a bi-directional, participatory model, OFIS facilitates co-design workshops and focus groups with mentees, mentors, and active alumni we call ambassadors. Now, just a fun fact, I was a mentor myself in the first cohort 3 years ago. Before returning to develop the ambassador program, now I manage OFIS as a member of staff, a perfect example of how we value continuity with our students. And in those 3 years, our students have completed over 50 science engagement projects. This is where they learn how to identify a problem, conduct hypothesis-driven research, collect data, interview experts, and explain these key findings to stakeholders like journalists, school boards, or local elected officials. Now, I know what you may be saying. This is a virtual program. How do you make an impact? Well, our students are making those impacts in the real world. A part of Cassian's Science Engagement Project was creating this interactive website for their community. This led to an internship with a local advocacy group and also an acceptance to the University of Cambridge this fall to study geography. Other science engagement projects like Prisha's tree planting initiative in Texas or Trinity's microplastics pickup in Florida demonstrate how we equip our students with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to make an impact in their communities. And as we speak about confidence, 3 years of evaluation data show that 97% of students after completing our program can not only explain and understand the connection between science and social justice, but I really want to hit on explaining it. They can explain that to others, which shows to us that they should have the tools to be able to break down additional walls to climate justice in the future. Now, there's so much that we have learned over the years, and even more I'd like to share with you today, but you don't have to take my word for it. In this short video, a few mentees, mentors from the past will show you what they've learned.
Born in a certain time, but it wasn't always this way, and so I wanted to understand what were the factors, the political, social, economic, that kind of made my city the way it was today. That kind of provided the basis for my research project.
So my capstone project was on microplastics, and since then I've done a lot of environmentally based education for my community, and I think that my capstone really helped introduce me to bridging the gap between environmental education and minority communities, because it taught me how to communicate better and communicate my ideas and how to make it understandable for a wider audience.
The biggest takeaway from my experience were 1, the importance of strategy when it comes to tree planting for environmental benefits, and 2, the importance of community outreach and advocacy, even when it might be intimidating. Combating tree inequity taught me that sometimes, if you want to solve a problem from the root, you shouldn't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
That's timing. So, anyone, any questions? Yes, over there.
What's the criteria to participate as a mentee?
Great question. So for our mentees, we want to look for students who not only have a high impact, where we can make that impact, but also have a high need. So we look at metrics like, are they at a Title I school? Have they received free or reduced lunch? Or would they be the first in their family to go to college? Those are the big metrics for us.
And what percentage of the mentees meet that criteria?
Almost every single one. I would say upwards of 90% or above.
How do potential mentees find you?
Great question as well. So we have a wonderful partnership with a lot of different local high schools across the country. There's a few in Westminster, and there's plenty in New York City. We really rely on a lot of teachers to not just connect us to students, but also share what we're doing with their peers.
How about children or people who are not associated with these networks in schools? Because a lot of the underprivileged, or the example that you gave in the beginning, probably won't fall in this network.
Absolutely. And we rely on our mentees that have been in our program in the past to spread the word amongst their peers. And we also encourage everybody to follow us on Instagram, Our Future is Science. It's a great way to access what we're doing now as well as in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. I'm curious about these mentee projects. Like, are they funded as part of the program? And what other further support is provided to them?
So support is a wonderful question. Our mentees and mentors receive an honorarium for the work that they do in our time, because we acknowledge for many of our students, if they weren't working with us, they would absolutely need a job. So mentees are supported with a $1,000 honorarium over the year, and mentors get $1,500. And that goes towards not just completing their projects, but also hoping that they come back as an ambassador, receive another honorarium, and do even more work.
We have time for one more question. Maybe. Yep, I know, sorry. Yeah, here, sorry.
What's the duration of the mentorship?
Yeah, so the program lasts about 8 months. So we typically go from around September when we start until May. A fun fact, actually, from our students, we have these focus groups where we meet with them. They let us know that their major exams for college, AP exams, happen around the same time that we had our presentations last year. So this year, we moved our program to start earlier. So when it gets to that time for APs, all that they're focusing on is just their exams, and they don't have to work on the stuff that we're asking them to do.
And there's so many things that a young person could do with their time. Why did they choose your program in 8 seconds?
Yeah, they should choose our program because we give them the tools to make an impact and become a leader in their community. We want to raise their voice and empower them to a global stage.
Thank you.